Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to do some embossing with a die that's tricky and I don't like it. And I'm going to show you a Stampin' Up! Paper pumpkin kit. I hope you'll stay tuned. So the first thing I wanted to tell you about is I had been connected with a man named Brian King, who is a Stampin' Up! Representative, and he graciously sent me a paper pumpkin kit. I know I told you a long time ago that I would be doing a video on all of the different kits. I'm going to do a video for each kit. And that's my plan. But today, I thought what I would do is also show you a cool technique that involves a die that I never have really liked using. And I'll show you the dies. These dies, one of my viewers sent me, and they're from Prima. They're beautiful dies, but it's really hard to get anything to come out of them. So with that being said, I thought we would play with them in a different way. But let me read what they tell you get, rather than the crazy way I did it. They tell you you get the stamp set, obviously. You get the ink spot. You get 8 card bases, 4 large and 4 small. 8 gift card envelopes, 4 large and 4 small. And so that would be, these would be the small, and then these would be the large. And then 4 double-sided belly bands, which would be these. 2 sheets of printed die cuts, that's these. 1 sheet of printed stickers. Ooh, one of these is a sticker. How fabulous. You know I love a sticker. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think these are the stickers. Yep. Oh, those are nice. Fun. And then 25 green pearls, 3 yards of baker's twine, 25 adhesive strips, 20 adhesive dots, and 15 dimensionals. After, when I do the other video, what I'll do is I'll calculate out how much these things would cost if you bought them individually, because that's how I'm going to do it with all the kits. And then I'll give you some of the pros and cons of each kit when I do that wrap-up video. So the first thing I want to show you how to do, I'm going to get this stuff out of the way. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to play with this technique where we're going to use our die. I'm going to get a scissor to do this. Where we're going to use our die to do some embossing. And I've been practicing a lot with this, so I'm getting pretty good at it. So my paper that I'm going to use is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I think what I'm going to do is put this offset somewhere on here. And the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to take my little Bermuda Bay ink. I don't like when the top is stuck to it because I get it all over me then. And I'm going to ink. This is the cutting side of my die. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing. Alright, now, you have to kind of do this fast, and I'm not going to do it fast, but the plan is you do it quickly. I have a Vagabond. And so I'm going to start with my big Vagabond plate that I think is the same as the Big Shot. Then I'm going to put one of my plastic cutting plates on the bottom, a foam piece that you can get for your Vagabond or your Big Shot. And then I'm going to put my paper down, and I'm going to put my cutting die with the cutting part facing down. And I want to make this offset, as I said. And hopefully I didn't move it. And then I'm going to put my other plastic layer on top. Let me run this through. When you do that, I don't know if you can see this. I'll turn it over so you can see it. You see the embossed impression you get? And then the ink is pressed in. I think that's really fun. Obviously the goal when you're making these cards is that you use the supplies that they give you, but there's no reason you can't add a little bit of your own bling to it, is what we'll call it. And just for expediency's sake, I'm going to use a tape runner because it will make it go a little faster, I do believe. I'm going to, I think I want to put, oh, maybe I use one of these stickers. All right, let me glue this down. Oh, look at it. Coming out of it crazy. And I'm using a Tombow tape runner. I have a bunch of tape runners, and this is just, it's not my favorite, it's just one of the ones I use. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I get that lined up as closely as I can. Then we're going to take one of our stickers here. I dig these stickers. These make me happy, I can't even tell you. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to kind of center it. That's pretty close. I'm going to center it right there. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do with my little sticker, I probably should have done this first, but I'll use my plastic that comes on these. I'll just use this, and I'll put that back on there. I'll just lay it on there like that, and then I'm going to stamp on it from there. And I think I'm just going to stamp these cute little flowers with my ink spot and my little cute acrylic thing that I love. You can use any kind of stamps that you want, but I thought I would try to use as much that comes with the kit as I could. So my plan at this point is I stamped onto that little circle, and I did all the little flowers on it, and then I put rhinestones on it. Now those rhinestones weren't the ones that came in the kit, but I liked them. But the white, I tried the green pearls, and I just didn't think that they worked well with it. But we will be using those pearls. Don't you worry about that. Put that sticker on there. And then I have I cut out some Spellbinders dies that one of my viewers sent me into these little shapes. I thought they would be fun to use with the sentiments. So I'm going to use the same ink. And if you don't know this about me, I don't usually like to stamp only once with my sentiment, so this is out of the ordinary for me. I like to stamp it quite a few times. Not bad. But I like it to be seriously dark. And that's not as dark as I'd like it to be, but what are you going to do? Okay. So then I'm going to go around the outside edge with my ink just to offset it from my background. Simple. There you go. I only got a little bit of a smear. For me, you know, that's pretty good. And then I think I'm going to use my twine and lift up my edges of that top portion. This twine's got kinks in it, and I'm not crazy about those, so what I like to do when that happens is I just use my water bottle and I put a little water in my hand, and then I just kind of pull the string through it, and that usually gets out the kinks that you don't like that. See it? And then if it worries you, you can always dry it with your heat tool, but I'm not you know, I don't care that much. I don't worry that much about things like that. Let's see. I think I'm going to do 3 strands like that. I take my scissors and I'm just going to snip off the ends on that side, and then I'm going to have enough to wrap around, which I think I have, and then I'm going to snip off the other end into my garbage can so I don't have twine everywhere. Every time I say twine, I think that's not what this is called, but I know it is. I just convinced myself it's not. And then I'm going to put it underneath this sticker. Since it is a sticker, we can just put it under there. And then the same thing, we're going to just tuck them under, but I think I have way too much to tuck, so I'm going to cut off about half of that. Whoops. Then I'm going to take 2 of those, maybe 3 of those little pop dots. That's what they call them, I think. I could be making it up. I think I'm just going to do 2, one at the top and one at the bottom. And I'm going to put it over toward the right side of my twined space. And stick those down. Let's do one more, and this time we'll use the other things that come. Oh, let me show you quickly the envelopes. The envelopes come already folded, but, and I don't know, honestly, I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do, hold on, with one of the things they sent me, but of course, you know, I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. That seems like the way to go. Of course, I can't figure out, there it is. It's right here. And they call this adhesive strips. So all I did was I took the backing off of one piece of it, like that, and I lined it up on the edge of my not put together envelope. Jeez, I couldn't think of the word envelope. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. Like I said, I don't know if this is how they intend you to do it, but it's so much simpler because you can see through the back, and I just rub it on, pull the backing off. Ooh, I almost got 2 of those. And then I can just fold the envelope up, and that's the bottom of the envelope. Now for the top of the envelope, you can do the same thing where you just put a couple strips before you close it, and then you just close it up. But I thought that was really fun. And then for what I was going to do for my address, and I know this isn't what this was intended for either, but I thought that I would use one of these little squares that they give you, and I'm going to layer that on my front of my envelope. Since technically this envelope is a little bit too busy to go in the mail, and I still want it to, that's how I'm going to make it do it. I'm going to stick that right. I got a piece of paper there. Stick that right there, and then it'll be able to be sent in the mail because it's clear where the address is. So I'm going to make the rest of the cards, and then I'll come back and show you what I did with them in the end. Basically, the most important part was for me to show you this cool technique, and I really do like that technique. I think it's a lot of fun. So I wanted to make one of my cards, and I decided I would use, I'm sacrificing one of the envelopes because I wanted to make a lot of flowers out of that floral pattern. So what I've done, hopefully you can, I'll get some of this out of the way. So what I've done is I've made 6 of these flowers, and I'll show you how I did that first. I have a piece of fun foam here, just kids foam, and I'm using Tempting Turquoise, which is just a turquoise dye-based ink, on one of my 1-inch chip brushes, and I'm going over the image with it like that. Then I took a little paintbrush, and I'm going to wash this out when I'm done, with the ink that we were given from the Bermuda Bay that came with the kit, and I'm just going to draw lines out from the center into those petals. Some of them will be more defined than others. Hopefully you can see that. And then I took the brush and I just kind of added some more to each petal, like that. And then into the center, like that. And I didn't want those lines to be like in your face. You know, I want them to be, oh look how pretty I am. I wanted them to be kind of subdued. So let me get my ink out of the way. And then I took a stylus. And a stylus is just a tool that has round balls on either end. And I think you can get this for cake making or for clay. And I'm not sure where I have bought mine. I bought them a long time ago. But anyway, here's what you're going to do. You're going to flip over your flower. And then you're going to hold your liller ball and push it on foam to the ends of the petal. We're going to just push on the ends of the petal. Not in the center of the petal, the ends of the petal. So that they're kind of pushed under. See that? And then I take it and I push into the very center, flipped it back over, so now you're looking at the top of it. And you push it, so then it's very three-dimensional. And then I just take my tool, pick my little pokey tool, and one of the little pearls that they gave us in the kit, and I'm just going to put that, okay, I'm thinking about putting that in the center. And then just push it in to make sure it stays, and that's how I'm doing the flowers. Then, what I wanted to do, I'm using my little, one of these little, I guess they call them gift card boxes, and I folded it in like that, and then I wasn't sure if I liked that side or the striped side, and I think I'm going to stick with the green side because I'm going to show you why in a second. And I'm going to put glue underneath my flaps because I'm not going to be using it for a gift card holder. I want my flaps to lay down as much as they can. Hopefully I'm in frame. Get that out of the way. So we're just going to push those down. And if you have clips or clamps that you can use for this, now would be the time to use them so that you can hold those pockets down. It is a pocket, but it's not going to be a pocket. Well, it's going to be, in the minute, it's going to be a flower pot. Because I don't do many gift cards. I like to give gifts, so I wanted this to be something different than a gift card holder. So that's what I'm doing with it. I'm just going to make sure that it's kind of attached to itself. So I just kind of move my clips around so that we can make sure that the whole thing is pretty well adhered on itself. It doesn't have to be perfect. That side doesn't want to stay at all. I'm just going to leave that on for a minute. And, okay, here's my next plan of action. I'm going to take my card and, doesn't want to stay. I cut, there was these strips. I'm going to find a strip here. Clearly, this is the strip. And I cut it into thinner pieces. And what these are going to end up being are my stems for my flower. I tried to cut them relatively thin, but my skill set in cutting these is not as good as it could be. But here's the thinnest one, and I'll probably cut more of them as I go. And it'll probably make more sense if I glue this on or put this where I want it first. So let me just pinch this on like that. Then we're going to use our little strip, and I'm going to put glue on the whole strip and then I'll cut it. I probably should not do the whole strip, but I'm gonna. It's a very thin line of glue. I'm just going to position these inside my little, inside my case that I haven't glued down to anything yet. Don't forget that. It's still just kind of laying here. If it looks weird in the end, we'll throw it out. That's all, it's just paper. That's the one thing, and if you can take anything away from my channel, it's this. It's only paper, so if you hate it when you're done with it, you can throw it out. In the meantime, play with it and have a lot of fun with it. And once you're done, if you hate it, like I said, throw it out. If you love it, give it to someone or keep it for yourself. I don't know if we need a whole one of these little dimensional things or not, because I don't want it to show. I guess maybe it doesn't show. Put one. Not completely where I wanted it. I like that alright, I think. Let's finish putting these on. Just want to make sure that we get them centered. Did I show you the punch I used for this? I'm sure they don't make it anymore, but it's the Stampin' Up punch that's a couple years old. And of course it doesn't have the name on it. We'll call it a flower. Small flower punch. That's what we're calling it. Anyway, I like that punch. It's, of all the Stampin' Up flower punches, this is the one I like the best because it's small. You can do a lot of different things with it, and it's just, I think it's just kind of cute. Okay, so next we're going to get our leaves going. Let me grab those and I'll be right back. Alright, so I used a really old punch. It's Punch Bunch, I think it's called, and I don't know, it's really hard to punch. I have to step on it to punch it. Just so I'm honest with you, I hate to lie about things like that. I used my green brush and gumball green ink, and I covered all of the punches that I punched out of this paper. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of this. I don't want to glue the whole thing down. I'm going to glue it up and underneath like that, and then it's going to kind of stick up a little bit. Some of these are not fully punched, like there's little pieces because I ran out of paper to punch. So some of these are just pieces and parts, and you'll see those when I get to them. But in the meantime, I'll use the perfect ones for the end spots. See if I can get that in there. Like that. Get rid of that extra glue. Then I have this one. You can see right here, this leaf and this leaf are in bad shape. So what I'm going to do is snip that portion off. So that leaves us with 3 good leaves. And then I can put that into the center section coming down like that. I think I have another one of those. It's kind of rough. Yeah, I think it's this one. So this one, I have this one part of my leaf is in bad shape. So I'm going to have to put that somewhere where I can kind of tuck it around. You know, we're going to do some tucking, is all I'm saying. So I'm going to stick that. You're never going to know that that happened. Just like that. Wait, I gotta lift up that flower leaf and shove it underneath. So that's what we look like so far. Now we're gonna glue this bad boy down. A little wet glue, and the glue I'm using is Tombow Mono Aqua Glue. It's nice because I don't know about the rest of you, but those fine tip applicators, I struggle with those, and this one has a pretty narrow tip, so you don't get a lot of glue out at once, but it's not like those ones where you can squeeze until the cows come home and you're never going to get it to have anything come out if you're me. Other people, I'm sure, can get theirs to come out, but mine, not so much. but I need to put a sentiment on it. So let me grab a sentiment that will fit on that, and I'll be right back. I thought it would look good down here underneath there. We're going with it. We're just going to put it down there like that. And I think I want to decorate my little vase. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to grab some of my little, I found the little green ones. They're right here. I could put one, that's what I think I'm going to do, at the top of each of the little loops. Just to make it a little bit more decorated. Here's one. Why do these always come off? I don't know. I think I told you, but I'm going to do a video where I'm going to compare jewel pickers. And I've ordered several of them, and I'm just waiting for the last ones to come in. And once they come in, we're going to do a video where we're going to compare what picks things up the best. So here is that card. I have one more card I need to do, and if it has any interesting components on it, I'll show it to you, but otherwise I'll come back when I'm done with it. So in the end, these are the cards I made with the kit using the card bases that came with it. I didn't use the little card bases, and I might in the future, but I really enjoyed the idea of the embossed, using the dies to emboss with. I thought that was really fun. Then of course you saw this one on video, and then this next one I used edge punch. I used this punch and punched the top and the bottom of an envelope piece, and then I just kind of tucked this little tag in here and used those little banners to be like legs, and then I just wrapped some twine around. And then this one I used these little tabs, what are those called, banners, that came with the set, and then I stamped around with a little like a little confetti stamp I had, and I used this stamp that's from an old Stampin' Up set called Garden Collage. I thought that was pretty, and then I put a little bit of white gel pen on that, on this flower, and a little bit in the butterfly. It's hard to see it, but I mean it does, when I can see it when I tilt it in the light. All in all, I hope that you enjoyed this and that you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.